Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the Veri5ed podcast. Today's yeah, please.
Woo! Some hype, guys. Come on.
We have 4 people on our panel today and 3 people on the backstage. So thank you everybody who is helping us make this podcast. Today's podcast is very important. But before we talk about it, I want to tell you we have a very important guest with us, Mr. Amin. Please,
Yay!
Amin, did I pronounce your name correctly?
Yes, you did.
Amin,
Thank you.
Amin Rad.
Yes. That's
So Amin is from Iran. His origin is from Iran, but a UAE-based lawyer.
born and raised.
Huh?
Born
Born and raised, correct. So we have called him here because we are going to speak on a very important topic which is trending in the UAE. That is social media.
Ooh. Insert thunder noises.
So before we talk more about it, 2 things. I'll give you more description. So Amin is a chief legal officer for AMDs. I hope I pronounced it right again. I'm
Yeah.
very bad names. Yeah, sorry if I made error in that. He is also a legal personnel from Badr Al Zabi law firm.
Correct. Yes.
Correct. As I said, born and raised in UAE. He has practiced law from past 8 years.
Wow.
8 years, and he has been living in France and practicing law over there for 6 years.
Oh my lord. That's like a good.
Yeah, and he's specializing in corporate law, and that's why he's the best person to talk about social media in UAE.
Insert thunder noises again.
Okay, so we all know about the recent controversy that happened and what could happen, and we do not want to talk much about it. But first question first, I mean, have you checked my profile?
Yes, I have actually.
I just want to
I did.
know,
Definitely.
am I in trouble?
Have you checked our profile?
That's okay. I think it's very safe, but I want to check my profile first.
Yeah.
Please
I
tell
actually
me.
have taken a look at your profile, but no, everything is fine. I mean, in the UAE, the most important thing,
Okay.
the most important thing is that everything, as long as it's light, everything is for humor. You're not putting down other people, any specific group of people, or anything like that. You should be fine. as
It
long-
is for humor, guys. Please
Of
just
course.
understand. It's just fun. Nothing else. I'm not trying to do anything else. Okay. So please understand that. So thank you first. I'm just having a lot of cloud of uncertainty was in my head. Now it's off. So thank you.
You're
Your
all
lawyer
good,
has
you're all
said.
good.
So let's move ahead. Okay. So let's talk about the recent controversy that happened. Okay. And I want to know about it. Like, how does a content creator know whether this is right or this is wrong while shooting a content for the mass, especially in the UAE?
Okay, so the first thing you have to look at is my content targeted at any group of people or not? If it is,
Okay.
see how you are targeting it towards to the group of people that you're talking about. As long as you keep it friendly, you're not putting down anyone, you're not doing any kind of specific comparisons between two groups of people. This can be any kind of nationality, it can be any kind of race or gender. As long as you're not doing something like that, then you should be fine. As long as your content is, let's just say, friendly for everyone, it's positive for everyone, you're contributing something to social media or society, then you shouldn't be worried about that. You're putting smiles on people's faces like you do, Anil, so things like that should be fine.
Oh my God. Okay, coming to the controversial video. Okay, we'll not talk much about it. According to you, do you think it was like how do you perceive it?
Look, I practice law in the UAE, so I defend the law in the UAE. So according to me, by default, it is of course the correct law to be applied. And I genuinely do believe that it was the right decision to be made. When we talk about social media and the kind of image that people can give off when they're impersonating a specific group of people in this country, then or any from any nationality, if you're impersonating a specific nationality, it's very important to not put them down or to not portray them as a in a negative light, let's say. So when that has happened, it has given a not only a bad image towards this specific group of people, but also towards this country. So this is something very important. I think it's a very important lesson for social media content creators in
Correct.
this country to make sure that their content is positive, and to make sure that this content puts not only themselves, not only the people that they represent, not only the companies that they represent, but also the country that they're living in a positive light.
I've not read much about in the news about this, but are there any news of what laws has the video broken or something like that?
So let's just say there's 3 or 4 general laws that usually are of essence when it comes to social media. One of which is, for example, hate crime. One
Okay.
of which is defamation. I've made videos on these as
Yeah.
well.
Okay.
So when we're talking about hate speech, sorry, I said hate crime, hate speech and defamation. Defamation is about rumors. When you spread rumors about someone and they are false rumors, obviously, as long as these rumors can be proven. And one more thing that you should notice, you should realize, is that when someone accuses someone of something, it's up to them to prove it. Otherwise, we would be having a lot more cases. If as long as someone accuses someone, it would become a case.
Yeah.
That wouldn't if I wanted to mess with someone or slow down their life, I could just accuse them of something and they would have to defend themselves in court. That wouldn't make any sense. So we have defamation. We also have hate speech, talking negatively about people and putting them down. This is a very, very big crime in the UAE. It's a minimum of 5 years and a minimum of or between 500,000 to 1 million dirhams fine. It can either be both of these combined or one of each. So it's
Most of the time, I feel it's going to be the first one.
yeah.
5 years.
Yeah, obviously, it's going to be the
Yeah,
one.
we also
Yeah, obviously.
And also, of course, because of the way that the UAE is structured, the deportation is also a crime punishment that can be added onto it.
Oh man.
So,
Yeah.
what are the laws content creator they really need to abide by?
I mean,
Especially from henceforth now.
Yeah, like
something
after this
that
situation,
we all should be aware of.
whatever happened.
look, just again, make sure your content is positive. Make sure you're providing value to society. I mean, you talk to your friends and family. You're always trying to be positive with them. You don't try to put them down or compare them to other people. So why would you do that on social media?
Correct.
I understand it's become harder to go viral on social media because of the topics. They need to be more spicy or they need to have more, I don't know, ups and downs, but you don't necessarily need negativity in your videos to have that. So
That's true.
Yeah.
That's actually true. And any other laws like which you think that content creators are currently doing and it's not yet, but it's actually wrong? Anything like that is happening? Do you think?
Yeah, definitely. One thing that I would definitely suggest is for most content creators. I know most content creators here, they just shoot videos or they do collaborations with companies, especially. But if you don't have a license or if you don't have a
Anil, do you have license?
Yeah, driving license. Okay.
Emirates ID.
So it's going to be harder for you to protect yourself if you don't have a license, if you don't have a company set up, if you don't have a social media influencer license, which is one that we have over here, one of the few countries that has it, because of how focused UAE is on social media and how one of their biggest growth, all the companies, the country is on social media. They've also released a license for social media influencers.
Correct.
It's very easy to get it. It's not hard. We can do it for you. It's not an issue at all.
You know whom to
So-
contact. By the way, what's your Instagram page?
My Instagram page is legal.rad.
We'll put it up
Put it
on
up.
the ID. So if anything is, I think we can all contact you, especially the content creators who are there,
Definitely.
who need advice on how to make it as a career, because this is a new stream of making money, or this is a new stream of a job. So people can make it like a lifetime, and especially in UAE, I think there are people around the world coming in UAE to shoot content.
Absolutely.
So it's very important to know what are the rules, what are the nuances to it. And I think if anybody's actually pursuing a legal thing or a career in this, I think best person to contact is
Yes.
Please.
Absolutely. I think social media is it's a very, very important and very good, great tool to contact a lot of people at once. I can't imagine talking to 1,000 people in a day, but you post one video and in the first few hours you've already reached thousands of people. So
Right.
correct.
Yes.
So-
So, but like as we are on the topic for the content people put out, so say for example, there is a content creator who's put out some misleading content. So, are there any laws in UAE that abide to promoting
Oh,
misleading content?
absolutely. I mean, it depends on case by case. Again, this is every lawyer's favorite word is it depends. So if you have content that you've put out that's misleading, it's either intentionally misleading, which can then either be qualified as a scam, or it's unintentionally misleading, which then you can also face penalties, very hefty ones even, depending on the gravity or the degree of how misleading your content is.
Okay.
So it really depends on intention. One of the biggest things in law is also intention, and that has to be proven. If your false or negative intention is proven, then that could also have a big consequences, let's say.
Okay, it makes sense.
So does the UAE law like have like laws pertaining to like written laws already there?
Of course.
Can
of
we
course.
discuss like some of them, like what is mentioned in the law? So and so a law needs to be followed when you're shooting.
Yeah, yeah, of course.
Like for example, one law is like you cannot what do you say shoot people in Dubai.
No.
Shoot people on the video record.
I was like, duh, you can't shoot
say
people.
anything.
Anywhere, I
You
know,
can't
but
say- you can't say anything mean on WhatsApp.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah, yeah.
obviously when you're a content creator, you just become a content creator. You don't like say, okay, I'm going to now go in a institute and learn about it and then become, right?
Yeah.
You just become.
Trial and error. Yeah.
Yeah, so nobody knows exactly what the laws are.
Right.
So can we discuss more about that? Like some written laws that that are there that we can talk about.
Of course. So the written laws, I would say this would have to be a very specific video, or it would be even a very long video if we were
Yeah.
going to go into every specific.
Let's say top five
Top five.
top five laws that are on top of your mind.
Top five. Oh my God, you're putting me on the spot for which laws and everything. But okay, let's say for example, you can't swear in online or WhatsApp messages directed towards a specific person. Now, for example, we have some people that put down others. Let's say on Twitter, this is a very general
Correct.
space.
Oh yeah.
And it's very hard to control as a lawyer or to defend
Correct.
clients when that happens, because you're basically free fire at everyone. It's free for
Yeah.
all for everyone.
correct.
So everyone gets it. But on WhatsApp messages, it's at least a little bit easier to defend clients because it's on a one by one basis.
Yeah.
Yeah, so unless you're on a group, of course. But if you're having a conversation between two people, it's much easier to defend clients in that way. If, for example, they didn't have the intention of doing it, etc., etc. But on Twitter, if you're swearing, if you're, for example, cursing towards a specific group of people, I mean, it's very, very hard to defend that.
So I mean, in the videos, obviously, especially in the UAE, you if you make a video, which there's abusive language, but it is censored, bleeped out.
Right.
Is it okay?
That should be fine, as long as the whole point of the video is not the swearing or the negative comments that are being said. But of course, again, just because you're bleeping it out doesn't mean that you could include it in the video. Technically, when you bleep out videos, you're not necessarily abiding by a country's rules. You're abiding by a social media application's community guidelines.
Oh, yeah, that makes more sense.
A country's rules are here, community guidelines are here. The worst that can happen is you create another account, but you can't create another life in the UAE.
Yeah,
if something
exactly.
happens, right? So it's just be careful. I mean, if you
Yeah.
don't have to swear, just don't do it. And my advice to you is just don't. Like, never do that.
Okay, so that is one. I think obviously abusive content of any form should not be
Yeah,
done.
just avoid it.
Any other two like second?
I understand it adds a bit more spice to what you're trying to
Yeah.
say, but you can keep the spice for your food. And
Yeah, like you can use the word flip or flip.
yeah, for example.
Yeah, or shoot. Oh shoot.
Or poop.
Yeah. Because you never know who's going to be offended by what you're saying, right? So just avoid it at all costs.
Yeah. Is this I've heard this as a rule that in the UAE you cannot randomly take videos in public.
Oh,
of people.
absolutely not. Yeah, yeah. Never
Okay.
do that. So if people aren't consenting to you taking a video, I mean, you could. I have the freedom to take out my phone and record everyone here, but I'm not going to do that because you guys haven't consented to it. And if you want to create trouble for me, you could easily do that.
So I have to be really careful if I'm shooting, and if the faces are visible, then if like for example, if there are people but they're not actually visible, like the faces are a little bit not, can be the
Yeah.
back is shown or something. Is that okay? Or
Of course, that's fine. That's fine. So look, the same way you just described it, the same way it would be defended if a case were to arise from
well, I know I don't want the case, but
this. Yes.
I just want to be clean. Like it's okay, just a joke.
No.
So I think it's better not to have usually people in the background. I think
Yeah.
that would be the best. If you're shooting a content and you know it's a content that you're going to put it up, it's better not to have anyone.
Or it's
For
better to ask them.
Yeah, have the
rather,
consent.
like, yeah.
But I would say asking someone is also not completely on the safe side. My suggestion would be to just write a very simple contract, or have someone that's a professional write a contract for you to that's a general contract. Hey, you consent to being in my video that is shot on this date. You write the date with the signature and the name of the
Yes.
person.
I just get one video in my mind now.
Yeah.
What if
That
it's
person
like
would have
in
done that.
public?
For example, like I've seen some videos on YouTube where they go to, like, for example, sorry, on Instagram and whatnot. I've seen videos where the content creators ask people that work in restaurants, for example, they're the waiter or the waitress. They ask them if they can be part of the video for a quick sketch or a bit.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they've have contracts, or if they had contracts with them or not, if they consented to it or not. But these are the things that could that could cause problems for you. For example, if it's a comedy video as well, maybe they would be offended by the sketches that you make. I don't know.
Yeah.
It all depends. Again, case by case basis.
We did not put. I think we can talk about in the laws. Is it okay to shoot, like, we have two ways to shoot? One is a DSLR and an iPhone. So I think in the past, when you're shooting with a DSLR, you need permissions to shoot anywhere in UAE.
Yeah, we
But with
beat
the
that.
iPhone, if you think anything, are there any new rules come with that? Even with the iPhone, you need now permission.
Look, not everyone has a DSLR, so I understand why that law was in place. But for iPhone or cameras, just phones, everyone has one. Everyone has a
Yes.
phone.
Yes.
So it's a much more general rule for that, which is what, again, if you're shooting someone, it's technically not legal
Yeah.
if they don't consent to it, technically. So
Mhm.
if they want to create problems for you, it's very possible that that can happen. Even if it's just something as someone, it could be as simple as them coming to you and saying, "Hey, I don't appreciate the fact that I was in your video. Please delete that video."
Yeah.
And you will have to do that, otherwise they could create a case for you.
In that case, I really wanted to ask this question because me as a person, I love to watch pranks. Okay,
Oh,
I want to know
not in UAE.
how safe or how dangerous it
No,
is to
not
shoot a
really.
prank.
No,
I would highly advise against it.
I think,
Against it.
I,
can't be.
I
we
think the
can't be
only
like,
time a prank video is going to happen if it is sketched properly.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
You just can't, you should not. I mean, it's not something that anyone should do it anywhere also. It's not like a great thing to show someone getting pranked and all.
Yeah.
But I think in the UAE, if you end up doing it, it has to be sketched and
And
everything has to be
we
there.
have
Like,
to
as
take
you said,
permissions.
of
taken
course.
permissions properly.
Of course. You have privacy laws defending or protecting people against
Yeah.
this as well. So I mean, I wouldn't necessarily. You have to do your own risk assessment and risk management. How funny is your content? How important is this
Yeah.
for you to put out a prank video versus the trouble that you could face if it's not balanced?
Yeah, that's true.
Any unknown facts about social media rules in UAE? Like what we don't know, especially like community guidelines.
Like as in something like we do regularly, but you shouldn't actually do that. Like,
Yes, I've seen a lot of videos where people are, again, making comedy videos against, like, specific group of people that they're not from that country, or they're not from that group of people. Let's say they're not from that gender or whatever. And so if you'd make those
Okay.
kind of content, if you do it in a positive light where the group of people that you're actually making a video about enjoy it and it's positive, it gives them a positive image in society, by all means. But if it's any kind of negativity where all the other groups, or the other group, the opposing group, let's say, when we're talking about gender, they can pinpoint and laugh at them, you could land in trouble, a lot of trouble.
Every time you say comedy videos, I'm like trying to scroll my Instagram page in my mind and see which video.
Every time whenever he says comedy,
Yeah, we all will be like, huh, okay,
Yeah.
fine. But to be clear, I always try not to have anything which is really insulting someone.
Yeah.
I personally feel that's not comedy.
Yeah.
It cannot be comedy when someone is getting insulted or hurt. It can be done in a group of friends. I call bullying, but yeah, until and unless you don't complain
Yeah.
and it's on a video, you can't do anything. But yeah, insulting someone or in any way doing something which again derogating, if this is the term to be used, it's not comedy. That is what I believe.
but even if it's like when it comes to imitation of a specific group, if it's basic imitation, like how they talk, what they wear, is it like allowed or not?
You're not technically forbidden from wearing, let's say, clothing from a specific group of people or from a specific nationality or country.
Mhm.
That's you're not technically prohibited against that. But if you do that, if you wear their clothing but you portray them in a negative light,
Oh,
you
okay.
have the complete freedom of your own actions actions, right?
Okay.
So if you use your own actions, your own freedom of of movement, of talking,
Mm.
to portray other people negatively, then that's on you. You know, that can get you in some trouble.
Okay. And what are these, as we spoke earlier, you said that there are some requirements, license requirements for social media companies and content creators. So can you give us like a bit of light on what
Yeah.
is
Of
needed?
course. I mean, when we talk about social media, it's a very broad term, and there's a lot of sectors, let's say, and subcategories to social media, such as marketing, such as consultation, growth, management, every kind of industry that can be related to social media. You can definitely get a license for it. That's something we also, of course, do. We assist you in it. Again, just to quick bracket, no, quick side note, let's say. The reason why you should go for lawyers to open up a company for you versus an agency to open up a company for you is that agencies, your lifetime value as a client ends the day you get your license. So they're willing to give you whatever license, maybe ones that are not even applicable to you,
Oh.
just to sell you a service, right? Because once you get your license, it's over. You can't do any more business with them. So that's where the business ends. But for lawyers, our business with you starts when you get your license. We want to do contracts for you. We want to protect you against your the different clients you're going to have, the different deals you're going to have. So it's very important for us that you're set in the right direction. But we definitely have a lot of different licenses that apply to social media, such as social media influencer license. You have a freelancer license that you can get. You can get marketing management licenses. You can get consultation, etc., etc. With all depends. Again, lawyer's favorite word, depends on which case we're talking about. We can.
So if you come to UAE and you get your license, suppose an influencer license, do you get a visa along with that?
Yeah, definitely. You can definitely get a visa along with it as well.
Uh,
We would
so-
first get your initial approval. Once you get your initial approval, it means you're going to get your license. Once you get your license, we apply for your visa. All of this takes approximately a week or two. We
Mhm.
can assist you in setting up your bank account as well. You set up your life over here. We assist you in setting up your life over here. And
Wow. So this is for individuals. Now, if there are companies, what is that? Is it like the same influencer contracts, or is it like there's a company contract as well for social media companies like Veri5ed? Or there are a lot of companies like we all know about Love in Dubai, we all know Gulf. I know they are registered, but are they in the same influencer background? Or there are company registration laws as well for companies.
of course, I mean, if you have any kind of revenue being generated, it is obligatory for you to have a license.
Okay.
So any kind of revenue that's being generated either through the company directly or through proxies of the company, you would definitely need a license for that.
I think this is something which UAE, even in other countries, is there, like, do you have need a license, like in?
Any kind of revenue that's being generated, because in the UAE now we have taxes, but before we didn't. But in other countries, because you have taxes, so when you declare your taxes to the government, they would have to know where the source of this is.
Oh,
So once you show the sources, they'll be like, okay, so you're making money from social media. Why? Where does this money come from? Etc.
okay. So
Oh.
we need it.
There's a
Wow.
lot of scam going on in around a lot of social media pages.
Oh,
yeah.
for sure. Of
So
course.
many fake
So many
accounts.
I
fake
can't
accounts.
even
I
count.
myself
Yeah.
got like someone was imitating me.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you. So I think a year back her account got hacked,
Yeah.
and nobody knew. She knew because 100 people messaged and go, "What are you promoting?" Like there was her photo was there,
trading.
and there was like, "Oh, I won so much money by trading so and so,"
Yeah.
and it was logged out. And then somehow we knew how to get it out. So in 6 hours we got the account back.
Okay.
So there are a lot of
And
scams happening.
like recently, a month back, also, someone was imitating me and they were like, "Oh, hey, I need a help. I need something. I need this." Luckily, someone had contacted me and I had to report. I had to tell everyone to report. And there are other social media pages, like, there are so many social media pages. So,
I'll tell you. I mean, this is something we've not discussed pre-hand of this thing. So there is a lot of things right now. Like if I'm a content creator, right now, there are fake accounts. There's AI.
yeah.
People can literally voice your voice. They can
Yeah.
literally make your videos with your face, and they could make a controversial video with me.
Yeah.
Now, in such a case where I know, I mean, like for example, giveaways is something big in UAE. Like people want to do giveaways, and
Mhm.
once you do a giveaway, there are 100 fake accounts.
Yeah.
Supposing this fake account ended up scamming someone, and gone, and now they have proof because they can
How
show.
would you get scammed from a giveaway?
People do. There are
They
really
they
there are
have
really some great
multiple,
people.
accounts. Like
So
if
the
we
thing is,
give,
the thing is very simple. So you can buy your followers, you can buy your views, you can literally set up an entire page which looks ditto.
yeah,
course.
So you can just change alphabet of the user handle. Like for example, let's say the Anil Lobo. You can I have this
Yes,
thing as-
yes, I'm familiar with that.
So all that you could do, and people might not come to know, but because everything is that, like everyone knows what that page is, you can end up getting folks. So once the person gets scammed and someone like files a complaint against me or anybody, it currently is anything there to safeguard like or to manage this situation because there's so much happening.
No, unfortunately, it's not worth it. Not worth your time. It's really. But my question is this: how can you get scammed from a giveaway?